Kia ora koutou. Nothing like working on the spot. Yeah, good thing it's all prepared. I'm happy to jump ahead, Dean, and present. So I'll just cut all So just a bit about myself. Ko Nakdong te awa, ko Rerangi te waka, ko Kim te iwi, ko Joanne tuku ingoa. So you would have noticed my pepeha goes back to my whakapapa back in South Korea, where I was actually born. And then my family moved over to Whangārei when I was 3. So ever since then, I grew up in this place. So yeah, it's quite close to my heart. And now I work for the predator-free team at Northland Regional Council as a communications and engagement coordinator. So there's 2 projects. There's both Pewhairangi Whānui, which is Bay of Islands, and Whangārei, but I'll be talking to the Whangārei project today, more specifically what's happening with the possum eradication project happening out Whangārei Heads. But before I jump ahead, I kind of just wanted to go over the big picture stuff. So our funders, you'll see on the bottom right corner, is the Regional Council and Predator Free 2050 Limited, a Crown-owned charitable company. So they, it's a bit of an ambitious goal to remove all predators, or 7 predators, rats, possums, mustelars, by 2050. And while they have funded offshore island eradication projects, it has been a lot of focus has been on the large landscape eradication projects, and you can see in the past 5 years here how much it's grown. And you know, there's each project is quite different, but the ones a few years ahead of us, like Wellington, have really started to see a lot of the benefits. Just following their Facebook, you'll be able to see that, you know, I think a few months ago I saw that they were trying to catch their last Norway rats, but yeah, just seeing like really good stories, like people seeing kakariki, kaka, ka rea in their backyards. So yeah, it's just kind of reinforcing the why and the outcomes that we can see if we do achieve a predator-free Whangārei or taitokoro. So with mainland eradication, there's from our funders, there's a couple under NRC. So there's the Whangārei Heads Eradication Project. So that's trying to remove possums in over 9,000 hectares of land. And up in the Bay of Islands, Pewhairangi Whānui, we have the 3 peninsulas. And before I go any further, I'd just like to say that, you know, a lot of this has, you know, with our project, we're really building on the already existing efforts of what the community groups have done for decades. And with the Whangārei Heads project, it's without them, like Backyard Kiwi or Kiwi Coast or Breamhead Conservation Trust, reality is we wouldn't be here. So just wanted to really recognise the efforts that have already been done. So yeah, just quickly we'll mention that there is another project in the Kaipara Harbour, which is led by iwi and hapu. So the NRC is not, we're not the fund holders, but yeah, it's the funders, Predator Free 2050. They have another project happening in that space. So we keep in touch with them, but yeah, not working as closely, I suppose. And then yeah, that brings us to Whangārei. So yeah, the goal is to eradicate possums on over 9,000 hectares of land by 2025. So what's that, like three or 4 years left now? And completing this project, what this will mean is that we would have consulted over 2,000 landowners, set up almost up to 10,000 eradication devices, have collaborated with community pest control groups, iwi hapu whānau, and Northland Whangārei Heads is quite a classic Northland landscape where in this map you can see we have the whole 9 yards. So we have beaches, we have farmland, we have forests, we have dockland, we have district council land, we have little urban villages. So what that just means is that this is a bit of a complex environment, social and physical environment where the project is working upon. So it's been maybe feeling like a little bit slow in the beginning, but a lot of things have happened behind the scenes, which I'll talk to. And at this point, you're probably wondering why are we called predator-free whangārei and not predator-free whangārei heads? So as part of our funding, while our project is to eradicate in the peninsula, we are working with Kiwi Coast to intensify mustelid suppression in the wider Whangārei area, so area 2 you can see there, and also develop an urban predator-free program and targeting mostly rats, which is done by Tia Kina Whangārei currently. So that's kind of why we are predator-free Whangārei as opposed to Whangārei heads. Really quickly on our ops plan, so just because it is eradication, we find that we are there's a bit of a step to how we do it. So we have the knockdown phase where you're really trying to reduce possum numbers quite significantly, and that means putting a device one every hectare. And then we go and move into mop-up phase where we're trying to capture the lone possum. And once we're satisfied that has been done, we move into detect and respond. And then we have our defend area, which with Whangārei heads, and the kind of buffer zone sits in Pārua Bay and beyond. And on the right, you'll see the different working blocks. So what we're doing is it's kind of a rolling, moving front from working block 1, which is Bream Head Te Whara. Something important to note here is that, while we have put pen to paper and we have devised plans for the project, you would have seen how much of a complex landscape we're on. Things do pop up and we have to just change gear and adapt. And that's what we found with the project. Just really quickly, so just an example is, because with mop-up phase, it's very dense. We have to try get a landowner every hectare on board. It's really important that we collaborate with them. What sort of devices do they allow on their property? Do they have pets? Is there potable water? So this is a 7-page agreement that we go through each of the landowners, and sometimes it takes up to 3 hours in one sitting, and sometimes even multiple visits for us to really work with the landowner. If they have stock, we might have to work on a rotating schedule, or it limits us to not being able to use bait and just traps. There's just a lot of considerations, these are kind of our suite of tools that we use. So I won't go too much into that. One thing I did want to just touch on is one of the cool technologies we're using is the live leg hold capture traps. So on the right, you'll see a kind of a hub, a satellite hub. So that's with the Celium network. We have 3 main hubs out Whangārei Heads, and to your left, you'll see kind of how it's set up. So, we have a little bracking at the top to attract possums because they like shiny new objects. We add, do a brush of dry ingredients. And then we have the little node on the left-hand side that reports to us lifetime. The leg hold, that's by zero invasive predators, and then a plank to not only avoid non-target species, but also just it really encourages, it's like a natural movement for the possum to just kind of walk up. So it's one of our best tools, most effective tools that we're using in our mop-up phase, which is when we're just trying to catch those lone possums remaining. And yeah, because this is auto-reporting technology, if a possum is caught, we have to be there within 12 hours of sunrise to make sure we humanely dispatch the predator caught, which means, you know, weekend rostering will actually begin to happen for our field team as well. So yeah, that's kind of just a real big picture of what we're working with, and to give you an update on what is at today. We have obtained over 200 landowner agreements. There's currently 195 active traps, 176 build bait stations. We've been able to build team capacity. So before there's only like 3 people. Now there's, I think, 7 or 8 of us, of which 4 are biosecurity officers. So, you know, the guys on the ground every day, like as we speak right now, probably bashing through the bush and doing what have you. Just appointed our new predator-free Whangārei manager, Vivian Lepa. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. And just to give a nice visual, so this is kind of what we're working with. Just reinforces, you know, the density that we have to work with. But also this map is interesting because you'll see in Te Whara Breamhead we don't have as many devices there. So this is kind of an example maybe of how we're working with community. Breamhead Conservation Trust, they've done awesome mahi out there. We haven't had to go in and put a device every hectare. It's gone straight into mop-up phase. So yeah, that's just a nice visual. The bright green is what we have live, and the other basically you can consider it as installed devices. Yeah. So we have caught possums as well. So this isn't this isn't public comms material, but I'll share it with the collective. But yeah, we've not as many as we'd like, but yeah, we have been catching possums in our traps. And we had a trial with the leg hold as well that went successfully, as you can see on the right. Riley Edwards, one of our biosecurity officers. Yeah, so it's been really exciting for us.
Ka pai, Joanne.
Yeah.
We're just running a bit short on time, so do you want to try and wrap up?
Yep, so just a couple more minutes. So we've also been monitoring what's been in our backyard, which is really important to, know how we're doing. So on the left is where we've detected possums in the last 6 months. On the right, the green is where we've detected kiwi, which cameras have detected kiwi. So yeah, again, really awesome to know that, just lots of groups out there that have really been successful with the mahi. And just to show a couple of the images we've caught, here's a couple of possums, and we do get to capture really awesome moments like this in our trail cameras. So that is, where we're at. And that is me. So, quickly, what's next? We have a intro to Te Tiriti o Waitangi workshop next Friday. So it's free and online. Please RSVP on our website. Just to let you guys know what's next is we're going to go live with the leg holds. So we're going to begin our weekend rostering. And then in general, continue with the rolling front and engaging with the local schools is what's in store for us.
That's awesome. Thanks, Joanne. Sounds like a really complex program, but good job what you've done so far. Now I can see Dean is back on our screen, so hopefully